With all the hype from the 30th celebration, the Pokemon market is reaching peak levels of insanity, and we're now seeing some huge changes that we've never seen before. So now, if you have been keeping up to date with what's happened, you will know that the most hyped set in the last decade has been partially revealed, and the 30th celebration is just creating this huge hype rush, and everyone's just awaiting that release day on September 16th. Though I think one question is, what's the bandwidth for this hobby? And are we all just like now recycling cards with one another? Because I'm looking at some of the prices that you're gonna see, and it is getting concerning seeing these price hikes. I mean, check this out. Alrighty, we got the tag team Pikachu and Zekrom, which, as we all know, is being used in a lot of promotional material for the 30th celebration, and it is getting a release there as well. Though we can see it was selling for 40 US. Right now, just after that whole presentation and reveal, selling for $125, which is just crazy work, man, that people just jump on it straight away. Do you see how these hype phases build? I am wondering right now, we do know the 30th celebration is gonna have so many cards in there of reprints and re-releases. Look out for the originals. One big thing that people that are, especially the newcomers, they think that, oh, the re-releases, the Magikarp, everything, that's gonna make prices crash. But believe me, when these cards as the celebrations get released and they have the 30th stamp, people look at the originals. They want the original because that's the source of that card. Why is it getting reprinted? Well, because it's an iconic card for the era. And of course, we can see that, yeah, I mean, that's going pretty insane, like $125 straight away. I imagine that's even going to go higher though, because it is a cool card. And I'm also one of those bananas that I'm like, why didn't I notice that before? And now I'm like, hey, but it's kind of just one of those things, you start liking it because it's in the spotlight. You know how it is. Though more than that, I'm on the PSA 10 right here, and just look at that. Oh, dude, look at this. We're selling, there you go, consistently for around 238 US, the PSA 10, 290, and of course we can see $889, and I think there's even higher sales than that, to be honest. It is going absolutely absurd. This card has just become massive, and if you look, last year, if you bought this card in PSA 10, there you go, look at that, selling for $131. What an increase, man. Obviously, no one can predict this. How can you predict that this card out of all cards was gonna just spike in price? That one is featured in the promotional material. It's interesting when there's a media spotlight, what it does to a card. And man, like, I'm just thinking some of those re-release cards that we know, like, is the VMAX Fusion Strike gonna start spiking now? Is that gonna happen? Are we gonna see small spikes for these cards? Just be aware of that. And yeah, I mean, like, it's just a lot to take in right now. Obviously, the 30th celebration is hyped. Yes, a lot of us want a collector. I am a big fan of it. I have to admit, I did talk about the futuristic rares. I think they look good, man. I really, really like them though. So moving on to Black Bolt ETBs, they were selling for 90 US. Right now, selling for 123. In the last 3 months, it is growing. I do think Black Bolt has been overshadowed by a lot of things. And look, Generation 5, I always speak about it, has a big fan base. But Black Bolt and White Flare, like you've probably heard me say a lot, I've always thought these sets were really cool, and they are a little bit overlooked because of, I suppose, the situation of being like Destined Rivals released, Black Bolt, White Flare, oh yeah, Scarlet and Violet era ended abruptly, and now we're in the Mega Evolution era, get ready for that. And these two are just like, oh, no one even knew, like, oh, am I collecting this? Am I trying to get a master set? Oh, well, no, Mega Evolutions, I want to collect those. It was just a tough period. Now, also, if you do enjoy price market overviews and you do want to get up to date with all of your Pokemon card information, feel free to subscribe to the channel. My name's Phil, and I've been making Pokemon content for a few years now. It's really cool seeing how much love the channel's got recently, and honestly, your support means the world. Though I am interested to see as well how the Mega Darkrai Special Illustration Rare is going to travel in Pitch Black. I'm here on the Mega Darkrai Special Art Rare, and interestingly, was selling for $750, has dropped to around $587 US, which is really expensive for a Special Art Rare as well. Thankfully, the Abyss Eye booster boxes are looking okay at this point, considering what the top chase card's selling for. As you can see here, Abyss Eye was selling for $158, just dropped a little bit to $135. I don't know, man, Abyss Eye and Pitch Black, they're reminding me so much of Lost Abyss and Lost Origin. There's such a big reminder there for me. And I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with this set long term. I have looked at the Japanese market. The Japanese market has been climbing as well a lot recently as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to, like, obviously with the 30th celebration as well, is that gonna be pulling a hype? Are people's money's gonna be more focused there? Who knows at this point? But yeah, selling for $135 a booster box. Now, while we're on the topic of Japanese Pokemon cards, I do want to talk about today's video sponsor, Buy. Now, if you've ever tried to buy items from Japan, it's a very common roadblock to see that some sellers don't offer international shipping, and that's where Buy becomes super useful. Buy is a Japanese proxy shopping service. It essentially acts as your go-between between you and the Japanese marketplace. So for example, on Buy's website, you can search what you want, such as Pokemon cards, or maybe you can search for a specific Pokemon booster box like a BSI. Once you make a purchase, the items get sent to Buy's warehouse in Japan, and then Buy prepares and packs your order out for international shipment. Now, what's really cool is that Buy does ship to multiple regions, including North America, Oceania, and Europe. And if you are a first-time user and you want to try Buy out, you can actually use the link in the description to get a 10% discount off your first order. A massive shout out to Buy for supporting the channel. Now let's get back into the video. Though interestingly, the whole Pikachu and Zekrom thing has made me a little bit interested in Zekrom, and I'm looking at the Black Bolt version here, selling for $470. Right now in the last month, selling for $515, so it has gone up a little bit. These monochromatic cards, I am wondering what is gonna happen for the future of these. Oh, they're cool artworks, they're great, they are expensive though, okay? And the only thing, and I suppose this is the discussion point in this video, what is the level of where all these high prices can keep climbing from so many different levels? Because I totally understand when prices are rising for certain cards. What I mean by that is, like in the Sword and Shield era, when you really looked at the top chase cards, it was, you had Moonbryon, you had the Giratina V, which was like a few levels behind Moonbryon. You had the Gengar VMAX, but you had those pockets of cards. There was maybe 5, 6 cards that were getting those really high prices. This era now that we're in is completely different. You have so many cards getting high prices. And like right here, the Zekrom selling for $515. When Moonbryon reached like 600 US, that was insane. No one could believe that. Now, pretty much all the top chase cards, all the desired cards from a set, if it's a top chase, they're all hitting that level now. And I am just thinking, is that gonna be a thing in the future when we're looking at whatever the Gengar special illustration rare selling for, or the Pikachu special illustration rare, and they're selling for more than 1,000 US. Is that just gonna be the price of the hobby from now? I'm just thinking about that. I really hope it isn't, because yeah, there's a bit of a disconnection point happening, because not many people can like chase a lot of these top chase cards. In the Sword and Shield era, I actually think if you were really dedicated, you could have probably got every single alt art. I actually think that could have been an achievable goal. It would have been difficult, but somewhat achievable. If you tried to get every top special illustration rare throughout Scarlet and Violet and Mega Evolution, I don't know how many people would be able to do that. Honestly, that's totally not for the average Joe. Though I actually am on the Tirtouga illustration rare from Black Bolt. Was selling just a month ago for $18, right now selling for $30. So there you go. They are climbing. Don't forget, the Black Bolt and White Flare illustration rares, if you want to get a specific card, they have it's actually quite common to pull an illustration rare from one of these sets. If you want to chase a specific illustration rare, they are some of the hardest cards to pull, especially if you want to try to do it yourself. Do not recommend. But if I just go on the year graph, look at that. Was selling for $12, had a low point of $12, right now selling for $30. I am interested, if a lot of people like just start trying to like now do their Black Bolt, White Flare master sets, some of these illustration rares, man, I'm telling you, they can kind of creep up because they are difficult to acquire. They're not the easiest cards to get. And also I am kind of thinking with the whole PSA pausing their grading service as well, some of the like PSA slabs of a lot of these cards as well, like pretty much all the ones I've shown you in the video, that's also putting a lot of upwards pressure right now on the market. And I'm just interested, were you a banana? And did you quickly like get your PSA submissions ready when you heard the cutoff date? I did do that. Yes, I am, yeah, man enough to say it. Man enough to say it. I was just like, yeah, I may as well do it, because I am not paying 80 USD for one grade. That was just crazy. So I'm just like, wow, I just wonder if that's gonna now like clog up the backlog, because I think everyone had the same idea. And you know what's funny? I had all these cards, like they were just cards in my binder, and I wanted to get them graded, and I was just looking at them like, I'll do it when I have to. It kind of gave me a good kick up the bum. I'm like, you know what? I have to actually send these in. So yes, I did do some banana behavior there. The same thing here when I'm on the Lilligant as well. selling for 25 bucks, now selling for $44. Really, look, this is a key period right now because there's so much hype coming in. One thing about the 30th celebration is that I'm just thinking it's gonna bring a lot of people into the hobby. And another thing, a lot of people with this whole 30th celebration, they're just gonna be like, oh, I wanna start collecting Pokemon cards. It's the 30th anniversary. And Pokemon is smart. I mean, that 30th celebration, it is smart, man, because when you look at all the cards from different eras, don't forget everyone had a different collecting journey. And it is really like, there's a mixed bag of cards in that set, but some cards are gonna spike people's memories. Some people that were collecting 5 years ago are gonna really like that. Some people that were collecting 10 years ago are gonna see cards they like, and they're all gonna wanna be part of it. I'm even seeing a lot of people are excited because, especially if you want to get a master set or you just cared about owning the artwork, don't forget, Pokemon cards aren't like something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you get multiple prints of the same artwork, unless it's base set Charizard, that thing's been exhausted. But in other cards, you never get that, unless these celebration sets are literally the only time you will get these reprints, albeit besides base set. So, is it the Lugia of Aquapolis? These are now opportunities for people to say, hey, yeah, sure, I don't have the massive original chase card, but for my binder page, I can now have an original Pokemon card of that artwork. Sure, it's a reprint. Sure, it's got the 30th celebration stamp. People don't care. People care what they have in their binder, and this is really awesome. And I think this 30th celebration is going to do a lot of that because, like, when you look at even some heavy played cards of like some of the cards that are like going to be releasing, those heavy play, they can send you over $1,000, $2,000. So it is going to be a cool little opportunity for binder collectors as well to have the artworks there. But yeah, man, I mean, like, yeah, the 30th celebration, it is just driving hype right now, though. I just think, like, how much more bandwidth does this hobby have? Because the 30th celebration is going to bring a lot of people in, but I'm very curious to know what is going to happen after the 30th celebration. But yeah, as much as this hype phase has levels of excitement, it is kind of scary. And I don't mean to use that word like, oh, how scary is this? But the price heights are just being broken daily at this point, and I'm not sure if it's really sustainable. Though I suppose if you do watch a lot of my content, you'll know that it's very important to collect with a budget during this time period, and my best budget tips for collecting are laid out in this video here. You can see the video I'm pointing to right now, and you'll actually get a lot of value out of that because I talk about all budget tips for collecting in that video. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on that next video.